Hello buddy, it's Warden here with another bit of exciting Warden and the Paunch multiplayer action. And this time around we are going to be on the Mosquito Swamps, playing as, well actually the Greenskins, against the forces of the Empire. And you might be wondering, well, isn't the Empire your colors? Well, actually no. This was one of several friendly games I played with Indypride from Milk and Cookie Still War. If you haven't checked them out, be sure to do so. I will be leaving a link to his channel down in the description and top comment below. But unfortunately, this was an excellent game. Really wanted to show it off, but I forgot to save the replay, so I had to ask Indy to send it to me, and he very kindly did. So you guys will get to see it now, but, well, the faction colors are off. Regardless, going over the builds here. Indypride wanted to show off, well, the War Wagon in particular. We discussed a little bit just how it could be useful, and he decided to go with a bit of a kite build here, but it's a very slow kite, because obviously a wagon is going nowhere fast with 50 speed. For his lord, he's rocking Marcus Wolfheart, of course, the most brutal huntsman in all the world, the terror of mere half year ago. Nowadays, a bit watered down, and you don't see him as often, but still a potent sight with focus shot, as well as Amber Bow being an excellent magic missiles that can really put most lords in the dirt. Hunter Snare allowing him to snag a whole bunch of opponents in a significant AoE, and Fleet Footed allowing him to sort of kite away from danger and evade capture. Now, backing him up, we do have a Light Wizard, because what better way to back nets than with more nets? And yeah, so Indy's going to be layering his nets here, and it's going to be a bit of a nasty business to try to deal with. He's also brought Exorcism to try to keep his troops in the field, which is something you don't see all that often, but it's definitely going to be cool to see if it works out here. Fast Protection, as well as Baroness Time Warp, if he doesn't have a reason to use Net of Mintok, which makes sense. You always want some backup spells in case. Besides that, well, the highlight of the build, War Wagons. And we're seeing several of them here. Now, there's one, there's two, and unfortunately that's it, but 2 is much more than you will see normally, and the reason we're seeing them here is because they've been buffed. If we look at the build here, or at the stats here, they actually now do 5 and 25 damage, whereas before it was 3 and I believe it was 15. So that's a significant buff, about 60% more damage output, and sorry, about 40% more damage output, and they are just much stronger now damage wise. So we're going to see how well they can perform here, if Indy's able to use them to kite back and avoid engagement and use up all that ammo, but certainly their overall damage output over the course of a long game can be much higher now. Besides that, we do have some Pistoliers here, set up, spread out, looking to kite and do more traditional kiting gameplay, just sort of whittle me down with their low AP damage. Zintler's Reichsguard, as well as Empire Knights, providing some screening on one end, as well as more Empire Knights on this end. So fairly cheap cav, but providing enough oomph and stopping power to stop Greenskin disruption. And then some Flagellants and Spears, providing a bit of an anchor. And the Spears actually chevron up, so they should hold a bit longer than usual. So Indy's focus here definitely to slow kite back to avoid engaging too soon, and to deny me effective engagement for as long as possible. While my build is a bit more rush heavy, and we ourselves are experimenting somewhat because we're bringing a Stone Troll build. So for my lord, I'm going to be rocking Azak. The reason for that is actually for his leadership buffs, because Azak has been boosted in that manner. He now gets Slag of Slashes, which boosts leadership by 4 and melee attack by 10, as well as Get On With It, which provides +4 leadership. We also do get beautiful life leeching here, which is going to boost our ability to use Lore of Death here. We got Doom and Darkness to potentially Fear and Terror out units. Soul Blight, of course, for that beautiful non-AP debuff, as well as armor debuff. Spirit Leech to try to whittle down elite cav or single entities, and Azag's Ard Armor to try to stay in the fight. And we very well might need it, because Azag's base stats are not terrible, but they're not amazing on the top Skull Muncher either. Besides that, well, frontline is composed of Gobos, as well as some Knight Gobos, who are going to be anchoring the line here. We do actually have some reworked AP Loonies here, who of course have much more useful Fanatic now that's much easier to aim, and then 3 units of Stone Trolls going to be looking to take advantage of their monstrous missile resist to weather the Empire's withering fire and hopefully endure long enough to get into Indy's backlines. Besides that, some Boar Boy Big Guns as well as Goblin Big Bosses are going to be protecting the flanks against marauding Empire Cav, and we do have 2 units of Goblin Wolf Riders archers looking to harass as well. Unfortunately, Azak is going to take a meaty magic missile there from Marcus Wolfheart almost immediately, which is going to make me very sad and make me decide to back the other way. Meantime, focus fire raining in on the Stone Trolls, whittling them down a bit. We do actually see them netted down here, but only catches 1 unit, so nothing too tragic. And in the meantime, the Wolf Riders are pushing back the War Wagons with that stellar 1 AP damage shot before shifting over to the Pistoliers, who are a much more valuable target. Trolls weathering it surprisingly well. They took fire from 4 different missile units there and tanked it okay, though their leadership was so. Only losing a model, and that's not too terrible when you think about it. However, in the meantime, the Goblin Big Boss is going to dive in on the Empire Knights, knocking one down immediately. Of course, these guys do now have their both the Slippery as well as their Days Need Stabbing. But we're going to see some poor boys smacking into the back of these Empire Knights here. We're, of course, snared and slowed by the Goblin Big Boss.
Greenskins scum!
Beautiful boss. That's going to allow them to do a lot more damage here. And Azag's coming in too, so we're actually going to get him in. Slaga Splash is going to be buffing these guys up, giving them more leadership and combat stats, and going to mean these Empire Knights are in for a world of hurt. Front lines in the meantime clashing here. Night Goblins diving in. Stone Trolls getting a little ahead of themselves and getting in on the spears, which sucks. They are getting shot. While they're getting shot here, they're kind of weathering the storm. And now the Night Goblins are going to get in there, help them out, hopefully over one of these spears, and take this engagement. In the backline, in the meantime, Boar Boys refusing to give the fight to the Resentler's Reichsguard until finally pivoting here to engage, bring the War Boss in as well, so the Big Boss is going to provide that poison support, make this fight much more even than it normally would, and Goblins are actually going to swarm in from the back. On this front here, we are going to see a Doom and Darkness going down. I was trying to terror out, or fear out really, spears here, but it's just not happening. Our first wad does go off, but Verona's Time Warp keeping these boys in the fight much longer than I would have liked, and making them do a lot more damage than I would have liked. As another Mintok locks my boys in place and prevents them from pursuing too effectively. Some Fanatics here do roll off into the distance. Not doing all that much. We actually get another cast there of them just spinning out of control. Doing a bit of friendly fire, no doubt, but going through these flashes rather well. We do remove a lot of these knights from play, forcing them away as the Boar Boy mob and, of course, Azag, Big Boss will plow through and push back these Pistoliers. We do try to get They Need Stabbing on the Wizard as well as Spear Leech, hoping to push him back and perhaps get our Big Boss on him, but it doesn't happen. Anytime, Indy is slowly but surely whittling me down with that focused missile pressure, and it's definitely not something I'm too thrilled about. We do manage to mop the Zentler's Reichsguard in the back, but a single unit of reserve knights here is still very much alive and kicking. And leadership is starting to struggle, and Azag, of course, can't get too close, because, of course, the gunfire pressure, as well as Marcus, who could put him in the dumpster very quickly. Trolls, in the meantime, pushing forward, but, of course, Trolls do suffer with their leadership. You can see these guys down to 10 leadership here, 1 now wavering, falling apart, fire coming in from all sides. They are going to crack here, and they're losing models. All of these units losing models there, which is just brutal stuff. Not much we can do about it. We are trying to whittle down some Indy's cav there with the Wolf Rider archers, but we just do not have the tools really to catch these war wagons. So we're suffering for it. The Goblin Big Boss there takes a shot from Wolfheart and completely gets plastered with fire. Spearly's going down on the Light Wizard. We do dive in with Azag, get a nice little chomp on him, and we're pursuing hot and heavy, but the Empire Knights interdict us. And Azag is now in a very bad spot where he just does not want to be. So he's forced to run like hell. Down to 2300 HP now. I was trying to shut down good old Marcus Wolfheart as best I could here with the Goblin Wolf Rider archers, but Knights putting an end to that. And yeah, Azag now on the run. Definitely not where he wants to be in life. Just a lot of ammo in Indy's war wagons. These guys still have half their ammunition. These guys have over half. And although we were whittling down, we're winning against the Flagellants, we're winning against the Spearmen. Indy still has a lot of skirmish cav and he has a lot of ammo, so he's going to be able to whittle me down quite a bit here, and there's very little I can do to prevent that. I do drop a Doom and Darkness, just trying to clear out this chaff infantry blocking me. But it's a struggle. And trying to keep the Trolls in range of support is very difficult. We do get in on the war wagons here with the Wolf Riders, just trying to bog them down and prevent them from doing too much. But with 90 armor, there's not much Wolf Riders are going to do. Getting pressured back. Those guys, those Outriders in the backs, just firing in on the Wolves, just getting swarmed, but they are circling the logger here, and they are not allowing those Wolves to really pressure them. And all the Wolf Riders are going to run out of ammo there and move on, trying to get in on Marcus, while Azag does dive in and takes a few nibbles out of him, but suffering pretty heavily there. Azag just isn't able to hold up here. Art Armor isn't going to help really against the AP damage. And although he does get a few chomps in there, and he might be able to route them, he gets the Terror in there. And of course gets backing from the AP Clooney's, manages to kill a model. He's taking a pounding there. He's down to under 1,000 HP, so very not ideal. Very bad for me. Just not looking good. We do dive in on the war wagons here, getting a rear charge, getting some chomps in there, but now Marcus has me in Marcus of death, and life is not going to be good. The Stone Trolls do dive in, getting some swings in on the war wagons, pressuring them off. But over here in the meantime, my formation of troops struggling to close the gap as Indy unloads on them. The war boys courageously diving in against the war wagon, circling the wagon, and we are going to see that just terrifying fire as the Outriders fire rank upon rank into the swarming Greenskin cavalry and monsters. And they're really holding up. They're holding up rather well here, managing to escape, taking advantage of their great survivability to avoid damage, and slowly but surely whittling down these trolls. Now, fortunately for me, it's far from over. Balance of power is about dead even. I still have a lot of goblins with their shields. I still have some trolls. These guys are almost dead, but these trolls are very much alive, and of course they do have that beautiful missile resist. And Indy is almost out of AP damage, so that is going to be nice. We've removed one of the units of war wagons completely. This unit is breaking, and that only leaves the Pistoliers and Marcus. So if we can swarm these guys, we might be in a good spot. But Indy himself has some tricks up his sleeves. Whittle down to Azag. Azag got sniped almost there by this darn bugger here, Marcus, who's now running for dear life. Empire Knights looking for cheeky charges here, and looking for a nice flank there. The Stone Trolls here do get on Marcus. I was trying to beat him down, beat down the Hunts Marshal. But he does have a beefy 45 melee defense, which means the Stone Trolls have a pretty bad chance to hit. So Marcus here bobbing and weaving, trying to evade his untimely demise, and kind of succeeding. Doing some damage to the Trolls in the process. Knocking off the model here or there. Knights are going to get in with a weird charge here, and this is where things are definitely getting a bit hairy. Azag's nowhere near to provide support because he's routed. The Trolls are going to get surrounded, and their leadership buckles. Look at that. Health, their HP, over health in fact, and they break. Tragedy. Tragedy for the Greenskins as these Trolls are going to get unceremoniously escorted off the map by those Knights. So, not great. We do still have some Trolls here in the background who of course do still have ways to go for their heal cap. Some Goblins here who are pressuring off the Pistoliers, and Indy is now almost out of ammo, so that's good. Azag is bludgeoned into a pulp. He's down to 340 HP, but this loss of the Trolls is just brutal. I have very little now to really deal with these Knights, especially, and that's going to start making life difficult for me. Indy's light cav here looking to circle me and pull in, try to deal with me. I was trying to get the Wolf Riders in here to help, but too little too late. We do hit Marcus Wolfhart with a they need stab in, but he's not going to give a crap. We actually get blocked here by that Knight there. So the Goblin Big Boss there is denied by the Pistoliers now. The Trolls shattered. Azag's just trying to get in and provide some support, but he can't get too close. Spirit Leech going down to Knights, which is a huge waste, but I just can't afford getting close enough to cast into Marcus. I can't risk an overcast right now. War Wagon's now diving in. It is just a cluster in this cluster battle here. Pistoliers, Knights, Goblins, Goblin Big Boss, everything is going down here. Marcus Wolfhart is in the pits here, slaying out with the Goblin Big Boss. It's just a brutal slog between these last vestiges of these two great armies that met here in Mosquito Swamps. But Marcus Wolfhart there does fire into close quarters, does some damage. The Trolls do come in. These guys are down to half their HP, so not ideal. Soulblight is going down once again. Those long-range casts from Azag trying to debuff the situation here. Help me out. We're just in very dire states here. Indy still has 14 shots on Marcus, which is enough to really plaster these Trolls if he wants to. There's some Goblins left, but the Knights can mop those guys up. A beautiful shot there from Marcus is going to send Azag toppling into the abyss. He's flung from Skullmunch's back. His body lying unceremoniously broken here on the ground. Night Goblins shatter. Mass throughout. Leadership cracks. That is GG. All she wrote for the Greenskins as cleanup in Aisle 9 takes place. The Night Goblins, the AP Loonies here, just holding out as the last vestiges of their force. And, definitely was a tough and hard-fought battle. Very well played by Indy, focusing out Azag, of course. I think it does highlight the new changes. That War Wagons, I think, got some good damage output over the course of the game, much better than they normally would, which is very nice. I actually had to deal with them as a serious threat rather than normally where you can just ignore them because they suck. So I think that was a big boost. Definitely some clever maneuvering there, I think, with Marcus. Using good use of nets. On my side, I think the use of Azag was a bit of a mistake. I think I could have probably used Grom the Paunch better here as a support mode. Because those early snipe attempts by Marcus would have mattered a lot less. I would have been able to weather those a bit better and recover. But I think Grom would be worse against other Empire Lords, which is kind of just a risk you have to deal with. But I do think the Stone Trolls showed made a good showing of themselves. The AP Goonies here, fighting tooth and nail, representing Gabo kind. Yeah, that's not going to last too much longer. It's cut down by that Pistolier. Just slicing them apart here. Point blank amber shot and a Pyrrhic victory for the Empire. So very well played to Indypride there. It was a really fun match. I thought Indy's build was a lot of fun. I think it was a clever build, and it was a unique sort of take on Empire that you can do now. I think with better war wagons, it's a bit of a slow kite, slowly but surely fighting back step by step and trying to get as much ammo off as possible. So I thought this was a really clever plan here. Not sure it would work against other greenskin builds. Maybe I think it would be more difficult perhaps against a wider greenskin build, but I still think it was something fun to see and fun to play against. On my side of things, well, I think Azag was a bit of a mistake, but the stone trolls were fun to see. It was cool to see them tank a lot of missile pressure, much more than normal trolls ever could dream of. Board Whip Guns performed rather well. Keep in mind these guys got their armor buff, so they're even better than they used to be. Goblin Wolf Riders doing rather well as well. So all in all, I was pretty satisfied with most of the units. I just think the Azag pick was a little iffy because he just ended up so easy to snipe. But that was really well played by Indy. He did a great job murderizing poor Azag, so well done. If you haven't checked out Indy's channel already, obviously be sure to check it out. I will be leaving a link down in the description below. If you have any comments, critiques, questions, anything of that nature, be sure to post them down below. I will do my best to respond as soon as I can. And I will catch you all in the next one. Wyvern out.